Hey, welcome to Classic Microcomputers. If you're a fan of Sinclair computers or Timex Sinclair in the US, I've got something to share with you today that I just got in and can't wait to open up. But first, let's go ahead and do this. All right, we're back. This, my friends, is the ZX Spectrum Sinclair Deluxe Collector's Box. And I just got this in, and I thought we could have fun going through it together to see what's inside. But I thought, you know what? Before we do, we should probably take a little step back in case you're not familiar with Sinclair or the ZX Spectrum. Let's take a couple minutes and talk about that. All right, so this is just a little talking about the Spectrum. If you're not familiar with it, it's actually a UK computer that was released by Sinclair. And it really was the equivalent to the Commodore 64, but for the UK. It had better pricing over there and did a bit better than the 64 did over there. So it was an early 80s computer released in the UK. It had rubber keys, the kind of rubber chiclet keys, and a little rainbow motif. It really was a pretty neat little computer and a big seller. So, and it was released by this fellow here and his company, Clive Sinclair, and Sinclair Computers. His company went through several name changes before it was released, and then after, when they ran into a little financial trouble, the company was eventually sold to Amstrad. But he did pioneer a lot of very cool things in the technology to help with the Sinclair or the Spectrum computer. And there he is holding one of the ZX Spectrums right there. The precursors to this, and there's even one more that I left off, which was the MK14. But these are the more computer-based ones. The ZX80, which was initially sold as a kit. In the US, you might have seen it. They used to run advertisements at the time. It was $100. Then came the ZX81, improved design, which came as either a kit or you could get it assembled. And then finally, the ZX Spectrum in '82, which added color, better sound, more memory. If you're in the US and you remember, you might be familiar with the Timex Sinclair 1000. Timex had the exclusive rights to the US and brought the ZX81 over here, but they rebadged it the TS 1000, and they added their Timex touches to it, which I don't really know what it was. It actually was pretty close to the same motherboard and all that, except for the manual was a little different. I don't think it was as complete as the Sinclair manual. So, but we'll talk about that later in another episode. All right, so when the Spectrum came out in '82, it was developed by Steve Vickers and Richard Altswasser, and it used the Z80 processor, which was similar to the ZX80 and the ZX81. They already had this experience doing it, but what they wanted to do was they wanted a machine that added the additional features that people wanted. Remember, they're going after the home market, and one of the things that drove the home market was games at the time. So the Spectrum actually added color and sound to a degree. Now, not like the Commodore 64. That was just blow your mind away graphics and sound at the time, but it still really was good for the price point. And as you can see, it was launched at 125 pounds and 175 pounds, depending on the memory version you wanted. So it came in cheaper than the Commodore 64. But this used the Z80 processor. The Commodore uses the 6502 based. Now, one of the things about the Spectrum and what was different in the UK is the UK had a lot of where they operated with cassette tapes. And us here in the US, you know, we did use cassette tapes, but we moved to the disk drive a lot more than the UK. They kept the costs low, tapes were cheap. And so the little picture here shows the loading screen of the Spectrum when you're loading cassettes in. It also added, I talked about the color and the graphics, as opposed to the ZX80 and ZX81, which were black and white. You had a 256 by 192 pixel resolution display with 15 colors, but it used basically color areas, color blocks, and a single channel beeper sound for sound effects and music. So, you know, it's not that good, but whatever. It gave you sound, and a cassette tape interface, which if you've ever used cassette, and we'll show later on, not in this video but in a later video, actually loading off cassette, and it does take some time to do that. So let's go ahead and get started and get that box open. Alright, I hope you enjoyed my little presentation. Alright, let's go ahead and get started opening this up. Alright, so let's go ahead and take a look at actually what's inside the box now. So here we go. Inside the box we have a Blu-ray of a documentary movie called The Rubber Key Wonder. So this should be fun. We also have a stamp from the UK with Sir Clive's picture on it, and I don't know if you can see. Let me see if I can adjust the focus a little bit on it. No, I can't. There's a 48K on here, and it says Sir Clive Sinclair. Now inside is an actual certificate of authenticity signed by Crispin Sinclair and Gracious Films Limited, which is who assembled this box. So that's pretty cool because it's from Sir Clive's estate. Unfortunately, Sir Clive's not with us anymore. A special edition of Crash magazine, which was the kind of like the real pusher behind the Spectrum game scene. So there's lots of good stuff in here. This should be fun to go through. We got a metal sign, little metal placard. Let's see if I can get this thing out of here. Oh, look how cool this is. Micro Midget Pocket Portable Practical Wireless. Must have been something of Sir Clive's. Okay, so that's pretty cool. Another little metal sign. See if we can get this one open. Okay, and this one is, ooh, cool. Break space. Right off the Spectrum keyboard. Then we have another one. And this one is the Rubber Keyed Wonder. So very cool. Now this here is a little 3D model that you can pop apart and assemble. That's the little base for it. looks like an acrylic, and looks like it's all probably laser cut, and you can pop him out here. You can assemble the little model. I'm not gonna totally do it just yet. So, and then we have a cool rainbow color wristband. With the Spectrum colors on it. I have a, oh no, this is really cool. This feels like it's, oh, it's a real heavy material. Oh, look at that. It's a cool little ZX Spectrum. And it's real heavy, whatever it's made out of. Let's see if I can fix the focus a little bit. It's about as good as it's gonna get. So there's that. That's pretty cool. And then finally, packed down in here is a special special game that was developed for this collector's edition. "40 Years of the Sinclair ZX Spectrum Collector's Edition" from the makers of Bedrooms to Billions. So I have no clue what this is. So, all right, so very cool. So that's what was inside our deluxe collector's box. All right, I hope you enjoyed going through this fun little box with me. And please make sure to like, share, subscribe, leave a comment below if you know about these computers, this wonderful computers. And we are going to have some upcoming Sinclair stuff. So stay tuned and make sure you subscribe. Take care.